This is the Joshua Report Live. True world news. Today we will be discussing witchcraft, the occult, voodoo, anarchy, chaos, violence, the burning of cities all over the world. You will hear the truth on the Joshua Report Live with teacher Joshua James. You may be looking around the world and saying, wow, this world is out of control. How could this have happened so quickly? Well, today we will be discussing how it happened so quickly. So as you saw in today's title, the message today is witchcraft, voodoo, the occult, anarchy, chaos, magic happening all over the world. You see, the world has become so focused on money and family and the dog and all the things and watching television and being a good person that they become so carnal that they have no understanding that there is a spiritual realm. See, to understand the world, you have to understand there is a spiritual realm going on around us, both good and evil. And if you don't understand about angels, demons, all of these things, you will not ever be able to understand the deep things that are happening in the world today. You may be seeing the violence, the chaos, the communism, the perversion, all of these things that are going on. What's behind this? How is this happening to a country like Britain or the United States, countries that were once prosperous and safe and successful? How can all this be happening right now? And the answer is witchcraft, occult, voodoo, secret societies, all of these things. And we are going to discuss this and much, much more here on the Joshua Report Live. True world news. Your lying news and universities and governments, they're not going to tell you this, but on the Joshua Report, you will hear the truth, and the truth shall make you free. I would like to bring you a verse from the Holy Bible. We are Christian people. We believe the Bible. So in the book of Revelation, which is the last book of the Bible, in chapter 18, just the latter part of verse 23, for the sake of time. For by thy sorceries, so he's speaking of Babylon, that Babylonian system. He says, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. That is a very important verse. So that is a reading from Revelation chapter 18, verse 23, the latter part of the verse. The Apostle John wrote, for by thy sorceries, Babylon, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. So witchcraft, sorcery, occult, voodoo, these things are going to deceive all the world according to the Bible. So, for by thy sorceries, Babylon, were all nations deceived. And nations means people all over the world. That witchcraft and sorcery, for in the Bible, I'm just looking, this is live, so we got a lot of questions and things coming in. I'm trying to briefly look at some of the comments. This is a live teaching, and soon we will be having Q&A and communication with you. We're just this program. We will be doing that soon, but I see some interesting comments. So yes, there is sorcery happening all over the world. some reports coming in of strange things that are happening. I get thousands of messages all over the world, so I get to hear a lot of interesting things. So I want to go back to what we were saying regarding sorcery all over the world. So all people are going to be deceived by sorcery, but of course not us, not the true Christians who are living in the truth. We will not be deceived by these evil, corrupt governments and sorcery. So we're going to look at some of these terms today: witchcraft, occult, voodoo, explained, anarchy, chaos, burning, violence, all of these things happening all over the world. Yes, we will be having Q&A. We'll be having live guests coming soon. We're going to be doing all that and more. So I want to go over a few things. Number one, speaking the truth will be a crime. Speaking the truth will be a crime, if it's not already. Even speaking just common sense will be a crime. No, I won't accept pedophilia. It's a crime. You're full of hate. You're racist if you do not accept pedophilia. All of this is coming, okay? It's witchcraft. So, yes, speaking the truth, speaking common sense will be a crime. They'll be kicking in your front door because you have common sense and truth. Number two, I want to just speak about this: war and peace. War and peace versus fight versus surrender. You see, a lot of people today, they just say, yeah, it's going to be peaceful. I want peace. Everything's going to be okay. Peace, peace, peace and safety. Sudden destruction will come upon you. But peace and safety, everything's fine. See, that's not peace. No, that's foolishness. That's called surrender. There's going to be no peace for the wicked, and the world is wicked. So let me explain that. War versus peace versus fight versus surrender. You see, if you agree and accept all the perversion, occult, communism, violence, all the communist laws that are coming, if you accept that, you are making peace with evil, but it's not peace. You are surrendering. You are accepting evil. We have to fight against that, but we know it is a spiritual battle. As a great man, a man much greater than I, the Apostle Paul said, that we are in a fight that is not against flesh and blood, but against evil, evil spirits. And that is in the book of Ephesians, and you can read that for yourself. So, yes, if you are looking for peace, that means you're going to be surrendering. Now, we have peace within us, but in this world, there will be no peace, okay, until the end time prophecies of the Lord Jesus Christ returning. So, if you are going to surrender, you are surrendering, you are accepting corruption, you are accepting perversion, you are weak, and that is the problem. The world is filled with a bunch of weak people who are surrendering to communism, occult, and perversion. So the title of today is Witchcraft, Occult, Voodoo Explained, a world filled with sorcery, violence, and anarchy. So let's begin today's message. Let's go to the first news article. Black Lives Matter, this disgusting movement. BLM, Black Lives Matter, deeply aligned with witchcraft. So BLM, Black Lives Matter, deeply aligned with witchcraft. So witchcraft is involved in the BLM, Black Lives Matter movement. All right, BLM, Black Lives Matter leaders discuss resurrecting a spirit, resurrecting an evil spirit, so that it can work through them. Now, these are news articles. It is sorcery. We're going to look at that. So BLM, Black Lives Matter, this disgusting movement, what they're doing is they are calling upon evil spirits to give them power. Hear my words. That's why it's moving so quickly. BLM, the disgusting movement called Black Lives Matter, they are using evil spirits by their own words. This is not my words. This is them. BLM leaders discuss resurrecting a spirit so that it can help work through them. So they call upon evil spirits to possess them, to give them power. Jesus Christ himself in the book of Acts said the power of Satan. The power of Satan. And there is evil power operating in the world today very strongly. So we're going to go into this now. And as I said many times, if the black people or white people or whatever people want to really help black people, they should move to Africa. Because in Africa, there's 54 countries that are totally just living in complete disease, filth, violence, rape, voodoo. I mean, Africa, it's very sad what's happening there. And if black people or white people or Chinese people or whoever want to help black people, they should move to Africa and help the billion people there. But you see, BLM, Black Lives Matter, is not about helping black people. It's about destroying Western Christian countries. So let's go into this. Next article, the explosive growth of witches, Wiccans, pagans in the USA. So in the United States, the explosive growth of witches, Wiccans, and paganism. So being a witch is becoming very popular. Christianity's in decline, and being a witch, witchcraft, is becoming a new, very fast-growing religion in the United States. You know, I was in many countries. I've been in the last very recent past, I've been in nearly 30 countries. So I have traveled in nearly 30 countries in just the very recent past, nearly 200 cities all over the world. And as I travel Europe, you really see witchcraft a lot, especially in Berlin, Germany. Now, Berlin, Germany has been totally invaded by foreign governments, by immigrants, totally invaded. And it has so much witchcraft on the streets, just gothic, all these black clothing, people with 666, literally with pen written on their forehead, upside down crosses, just open on the street witchcraft. It is very serious. I actually took a lady. I was in Berlin. They took the throne of Satan there. You can read about that in Revelation. They took it from Turkey to Berlin. It's in a museum there. You can see it. And near that, I actually spoke to a witch, an old witch who was demon-possessed and scared. She got in too deep into it, and I actually prayed with this woman and took her through some deliverance ministry and prayed with her and told her about salvation in Jesus Christ. And I do believe that people involved in witchcraft can repent and believe on the Lord and be saved, but there is a lot of witchcraft in the world today. So Berlin, yes, a lot happening there. Also, I was recently in Kiev, Ukraine. A lot of witchcraft there. Comes through the Greek Orthodox Church. We're going to be talking about that also. So, I see here, it says, number of witches rise dramatically in the USA. Next article, witchcraft goes mainstream. So it says, witchcraft goes mainstream in Hollywood and video games. So Hollywood and video games have taken witchcraft mainstream. Now, I want to take you back to that partial verse, Revelation 18, verse 23, the latter part of the verse. For by thy sorceries, or witchcraft, were all nations deceived. So in the book of Revelation, chapter 18, latter part of verse 23, it says that all the world will be deceived by sorcery or witchcraft. So it's a very important topic. It says in the book of Revelation, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. So if the Bible is telling us about sorcery, about witchcraft, we as Christians, as proper, upright people, we have to know what this means. And the message today is witchcraft, occult, voodoo, explained as anarchy, chaos, burnings, violence are taking over the world. It is through witchcraft and sorcery, and we are looking at that and much, much more live on the Joshua Report, True World News. Like, share, and comment. Download these videos. Get this out to your friends and family. You're not going to hear this on your lying news, on your fake news, on your universities run by the communists and the perverts. But on the Joshua Report, you will hear of True World News. Now, we are seeing sorcery, voodoo, occult going all over the world, but because people have become so carnal, even your good people, quote unquote, they have become so carnal, they no longer realize that there is a spiritual battle, that there is a spiritual realm. And as I said, a man much greater than myself, the Apostle Paul, he said, we are in a fight, but it's not against flesh and blood. It's against evil spirits. And you can read that out of Ephesians 6. We are in a battle right now, and it is against evil. And why is this happening in the great countries of Britain, the United States? It is because of the people's rebellion. And that brings me to a next verse. In the book of 1 Samuel chapter 15 verse 23, for rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. So first of all, we learn that witchcraft is a sin, but for rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. So rebellion, witchcraft, and you see this in the world, all this rebellion in the world, on the televisions, in the government, in the schools, rebellion essentially is witchcraft. Now we're going to go deep into this subject today. Now I want to say something very interesting. As I said, I was in Berlin. Wow, what a place that is. You know, it's a very interesting place, Berlin, but Berlin has been totally invaded by perversion, by communists, by violent immigrants, just beating and raping and stealing. But, you know, I want to look at something. You know, in this crazy world that we looked with the COVID corona lie, you know, I read something and it really sparked an interest. It says that masks and standing 6 feet apart is a satanic ritual that's used in secret societies, Freemasons, all of these things, that wearing a mask and standing 6 feet apart is part of a satanic ritual. And if you look at Justin Treason, or as some people would call him, Justin Trudeau, the king of Sodom, the one who's the leader of Canada, if you look at that, they called it the throne, the throne of Satan speech that took place recently, it looked like a satanic ritual. Look into that. It's interesting. So, in the end, we're going to see communism combined with perverts, so communists plus perverts plus the occult. That is going to be the world. Communists plus perverts, plus the occult, enforced by your governments, your police, and your military. The truth will be a crime. Common sense will be a crime. If you don't bow down and accept pedophilia, you're a criminal. You're full of hate. You'll be a racist if you do not accept pedophilia. So we're going to go into it now. Black Lives Matter, deeply aligned with witchcraft. Black Lives Matter, that disgusting movement, deeply aligned with witchcraft. All right, so let's look at it. What is witchcraft? I'm going to give you some definitions right now. The Bible calls it rebellion. The whole world will be in rebellion. But let's look at witchcraft. So witchcraft, practice of black magic. So witchcraft, practice of black magic, use of spells, bewitching, or fascinating. So there's an interesting word, fascinating. So spells, bewitching, fascinating. witchcraft, the occult, supernatural, mystical, relationships with spirits. The devil is a spirit. Okay, voodoo, and this is one we're really looking at today. What is voodoo? Voodoo, a black African religious cult. This is not my definition. This is the online definition of voodoo. A black African religious cult involved in sorcery, spirit possession, surprisingly enough, connections to the Catholic Church, voodoo, summoning of evil spirits to give power. So, as Jesus said in Acts, the power of Satan. That is the words of Jesus Christ. You can read it in Acts chapter 26, I believe. The power of Satan. So there is power in evil. There is an evil power. So a black African religious cult involved in sorcery, spirit possession. It's where they invite evil spirits into their body and then they roll around. Now a lot of Christians are doing this as you can watch on our other channel. We do Bible teachings on the other channel. We are Christians. We believe the Bible. And we talked about this speaking in tongues, as some call it, and that is a form of voodoo which came in from Joseph Seymour Smith, an African man, the Azusa Street revival in Los Angeles. They all began speaking in this gibberish chanting, and it came from African voodoo. So where is it happening the most? Well, the number one country from my study for voodoo is Ghana. That is the number one country for voodoo is Ghana. Interesting enough, there's a big Christian revival, I quote, in Ghana. Are you sure it's not a voodoo revival? Okay, also Nigeria and the Congo. So Ghana, Nigeria, and the Congo, those are the three leading places of voodoo. Interesting enough, those are the three countries that are getting involved, very involved in this Pentecostal revival. Think about it. So we know that a lot of African people came to the United States on boats and brought voodoo, combined it with Christianity, and this is where the Pentecostal movement, a lot of Catholicism practice, Assemblies of God, these false discipleship movements, it all came from. Now, if you are an upright person from China, India, Africa, who are in the good teachings of the Bible, you're upright, you're proper, you love God, you're living a good, proper lifestyle, following the Bible, that's great. I'm not speaking about you. I'm speaking about this trend of evil that is coming upon the world. So I'm going to give some other names for witchcraft, occult, voodoo. I'm going to give you some other names that maybe this can spark an interest of something that you've seen or you've heard about that you can tell us about. So I'm going to give you some other names for this. Lucifer, Luciferianism. So Luciferianism, Satanism, Santeria, Freemason, you Tubal-Cain spirit. All right. Wicca, paganism, magic, fantasy, witchcraft, chanting, Catholicism, Judaism, Buddhism, Hinduism. I want to take a pause there. Remember, Judaism is not the religion of the Old Testament. Let me say that again. Judaism is not Jew. It's something totally different. It's the teachings of Babylon. So Judaism, Buddhism, Hinduism, Halloween, drugs, hallucinations, magic, hypnosis, video games, Ouija boards, secret societies, evil powers, mind-altering pharmaceutical drugs, worship of angels, talking to the dead, wearing masks, rituals, abortion, child sacrifice, abuse, man-on-man perversion. All of these things are related to witchcraft. Hollywood. There's a great example of witchcraft. Now listen to this. The Greek word pharmakeia. The Greek word pharmakeia, pharmacy in English, pharmakeia, pharmacy means sorcery, the use of mind-altering drugs, these antipsychotic or psychotic-type mind-altering drugs, a form of witchcraft. Essentially asking evil spirits for help to gain evil power and evil wisdom, which is what witchcraft means. It means the craft of the wise. Evil wisdom, the craft or the actions or the ability of the wise. Evil wisdom. Evil wisdom, wisdom from hell or Hillsong. So think about that. So let's go into some others. Child sacrifice, bigger now than ever. More child sacrifice, abortion, child abuse, perversion, the Catholic Church. Everything is going on right now. It's happening more now than ever. So I want to take you back to that 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 23. Partial verse, for rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. So witchcraft is a sin and rebellion is witchcraft. So don't be in rebellion. Be a proper, upright Christian person believing your Bible from Genesis to Revelation. If you are hearing this message and you feel lost, you don't know what to do, start today reading the book of Luke. Here's some just great practical advice. If you are someone who's depressed, addicted, there's problems in your life, maybe you've been affected by witchcraft. Do this. Open the Bible and read the book of Luke. The book of Luke in the Bible. Start there. Read all the book, chapter 1 to 24. Read it all, and I promise you, through faith, you will be blessed. All right, so let's look at some more things going on. Why the U.S. government embraced the occult. There's a news headline explaining why the U.S. government embraced the occult. So now the occult, witchcraft, Satan, it's just being embraced as a religion. In fact, in the United States, in Europe, there is a rise of the religion of Satanism. Satanic temples. Oh, just religious freedom. No, it should be a crime. It will destroy your country, your civilization. Everything will be destroyed if the governments embrace and bring in this evil. The governments are guilty of treason. These countries were founded on proper, upright Christian values. Yes, immigrants were involved, but they were immigrants who were proper, upright Christian people, not involved in false religion and voodoo. And unfortunately, voodoo has come into the church today. Now it says Black Lives Matter deeply aligned with witchcraft. And why is that? To bring down the prosperous, once Christian countries in the West. That is the purpose of these movements, to burn down churches, to ban Bibles, to be a battering ram of Satan. But let me explain why this is happening. Because of rebellion, because of disobedience, God blessed these once prosperous Christian countries, and they turned away from God, and because of that, the wrath of God is upon the children of disobedience. This is the Joshua Report, True World News. We are live Monday to Friday, weekdays, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I need you to like, share, and comment. Also, please download this video and then you upload it to the internet. Please, if you're doing that already, thank you. Please continue to do this. People are waking up. We are Christians. We believe the Bible, but we are not these weak men who have surrendered to evil. We are the ones who are the soldiers of God, who are speaking the truth with power. This is the Joshua Report live. We need your help and support to continue this. Please go to www.teacherjoshuajames.com. You can donate there. It encourages us. It encourages me to keep speaking the truth. If you help this ministry, please like, share, and comment. Download this video. I need your help. Download this video and then you upload it to the internet. We need to get this out. Humanity is under attack. The truth is becoming a crime. Common sense is becoming a crime. Soon, if you do not accept Satanism, you will be considered a criminal by your governments who are guilty of treason because they are willfully destroying their own people in their countries. This is the Joshua Report, True World News.